We must be like connected. We're connected.
I live in Truckee. I'm one of the clients of SBA, and I'm on Facebook. So probably
Yeah, I think so.
nice to connect face to face.
Yeah,
I'll let people in.
absolutely.
Thank you. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Inside Voices. We're going to give this a minute for everybody to have a minute to get on. So just give us a second as everybody logs into the call. Just so all of you know, I do have a list of prepared questions for Kristen, but if there's specific questions that you have, you're welcome to pop them into the chat. And then we have sort of a running list, and you can do that now. You could do that when we sort of get to general Q&A, but some people did email some questions in advance. And then also I got a big list because I'm a small business owner and also an independent contractor, freelancer on the side. So I'm really looking forward to finding out what's happening with all this money. So I think we'll probably get to a lot of stuff, but just know that your questions will be, we can definitely take your questions. Let's give it a minute. Also, we are recording this, and you'll get an email afterwards with the link to this recording, and then also a link to next week's registration. So just know that that will come sometime today or tomorrow, depending on my bandwidth to get it done. I'll tell you, that's been a really freeing part of this whole thing, is to just be like, I may not get it to you today. May not. I don't even feel bad about that. You may not get it till tomorrow. That's been kind of nice. Looks like we have a decent number of humans here. For those of you who are just joining us, I'm Jen Gurecki. I'm the CEO of Coalition Snow. I came up with the idea for Inside Voices because I, as a small business owner, had a lot of questions and a lot of concerns about what was going on, and thought that there'd be a lot of other people. And I thought this would be a great way to get some of our questions answered and also build community. So this is, we're just gonna keep doing this until we don't need to do it anymore. It's open to anybody, whether you're in the outdoor industry or not. And as I said at the beginning of the call, I also do some consulting and freelance work. So looking forward to talking with Kristen York, who is with the Sierra Business Council. She is going to be talking about all of the relief packages and the options for funding that are going to be coming out. Kristen and I met years and years ago, actually, when she was, and might still be, working with Presidio College in the Bay Area in their MBA program, and that's how we first connected. Yeah, Kristen, do you want to unmute? Can you unmute your? I think I can unmute you. There we go. You want to? Okay. You want to just quickly introduce yourself, and then we'll sort of jump into exploring all the funding that's happening.
Sure. Kristen York. I work Vice President, Sierra Business Council, and Director for the Small Business Development Center for Northeastern California, which is a program partially subsidized by the SBA. I also still a professor at Presidio Graduate School, which is now 100% online till May, and I teach systems, sustainability, and social justice, and planning, sort of an environmental planning class. But it's an MBA program with sustainability embedded in the entire thing. So that's enough about me. But actually, the other thing is, before I did this years ago, I worked in bankruptcy for a long, long time. So I've worked with a lot of businesses struggling through and coming out the other side. So I'm not suggesting that that's the situation we're in, but I definitely understand businesses that are under the gun.
Thanks. Well,
Yeah.
I really appreciate you joining us today. There's a lot to talk about, so I'm going to do every effort to kind of keep things organized. So we know that there's a lot of new funding coming out. So we have the payroll protection plan. We have the disaster relief funds. We have, like, there's these different buckets of funding that people can apply for. And what I was hoping we could get through today is understanding what are those buckets, who can apply, and who, what are the requirements for that. I know for myself, I've reached out to my banker, and they don't know a lot of what's going on. I've reached out to my SBA guy. Like, I got my guys, right? Like, I've always like got my guys, and no one really know. They're like, we don't know, just go to the website. And I'm like, I don't have time to just like fuck off on a website, right? Like, I don't think anyone has time to do that. So what I'm hoping we can get done today is sort of eliminating a lot of this, like what might be going down a rabbit hole, and helping people understand. It's almost like a decision-making matrix of, like, if this is you, you could do this. If this is you, you could do this. And understanding that all of this is unfolding and you may not have all the answers, but I'm hoping that's what we can do today. So wherever you'd like to start. With which bucket? So you want to talk about the payroll protection plan?
Whew. Yeah, let's back up on
Okay.
that one. Okay.
Okay.
Let's first talk about, and I'm guessing, I mean, we emailed a little bit, some understanding, a lot of these businesses are small businesses, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe sole proprietors.
Freelancers as well.
Freelancers,
Mm-hmm.
right. So I want to address what I think probably the most important thing. So for you freelancers and gig workers out there, super important to understand that you are eligible for unemployment for the first time in history, and that you should absolutely apply for that immediately, because you've probably seen the graphs with the huge spikes. None of this is automated at the federal or state level, nothing. So imagine you're used to processing, I think it was, I heard this number from the SBA, a little unrelated, but they typically fund $25 million in loans per year. And now they're being asked to step up to almost 400 million if you include all the programs. They have not added capacity. They're slowly bringing on people. So it's the same with unemployment. If all of those have to be touched by a person. So if you are I'm going to avoid the chat. I'm going to let somebody else do that because I don't want to get distracted.
I'll help you with that.
Thank you.
Talk,
Yeah.
and I'll bring
Yeah.
you questions from chat to you.
Great. So if you're an independent contractor, you should apply. Even if you don't think for some reason you're not going to qualify, let them kick you out of the system. Don't say, oh, I don't know. Just go for it, because you get the regular unemployment plus the $600 a week bump for 13 weeks. Okay. And that can really help a lot. Okay.
Do you need to have lost 100% of your wages, or can you have lost some of your wages?
Some of your wages. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. There's a partial payment as well. Okay. And I know a lot of gig workers, don't even tell them, don't ever, this is like, I get federal funding and state funding, so there's certain things I'm not supposed to talk about, but don't talk about anything under the table or like your cash expenses, because that just makes them suspect. They're only going to look at your tax returns. I mean, that's what they have. That's what they go by. That's a legal document. So that's all they have to go by.
Okay. So when you are reporting go off of your taxes.
Yeah.
That's what you should be doing. Now, here's the question though.
Yes.
Most of us are going to be going off our 2018 taxes.
Right.
I don't know. I haven't filed yet this year, because why would you do something early? So if you haven't filed 2019, are you then reporting 2018?
You're reporting 2018, unless it can be more favorable for you. You can go ahead and file 2019. Payment extensions have gone for federal 90 days and for state 60 days. So if you owe money, it's automatic, that payment extension. So if it's going to make you eligible for more money, or maybe 2018 you were screwing around, things were under the table. I was an independent contractor for a long time. I actually just shredded a bunch of old tax returns. I know how it goes. I mean, I know exactly all about how that game is played, but if it's going to help you, go ahead and file 2019.
Okay. And then file 2019 and then file unemployment.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Actually,
So,
I'm going to answer. I see one right there. Do you need to have paid into unemployment insurance to qualify? For the first time, no. Gig workers, independent contractors, no. This is all new. This is totally new. It used to be yes. If you didn't pay, you didn't play. But now, all bets are off. Then I want to make sure I talk about the EIDL, Economic Injury Disaster Loan. So this loan it's almost just like custom written for super small businesses that don't have any access to capital. So if you're a business, and the eligibility is for people that do not have access to capital anywhere else. So let's say you own a home and you can take a home equity line. Nope. If you have an existing credit line for your business, nope. But if I applied for an SBA loan once before and I was rejected, perfect. Because this is not being funded by your bank, it's being funded directly by the federal government. So it's a totally different process. And you would go online. If you were on the site last week and you mess around with it, it was super frustrating. They shut it down for a day and a half. It's completely different. It's very streamlined. And there's a new provision, which is you can request, and you should do this, a $10,000 grant up front. That is brand new. That was brand new as a couple of days ago. So you should, if you're a small business, ask for that money, because that does not have to be paid back. And it's part of the new application. I just heard today, not confirmed, but people that were in that pipeline early that struggled through that whole mess of the new application before it shut down, that a bunch of applications were lost. If you think you were in that bucket, if you were like early, like I'm going to get my application in day one, you may want to reapply and check that $10,000 box, because that's when you had to download the paper, fill the paper out, upload it, crash their system. Yeah.
So I want to recap what you just said, and then I'm going to get the comments that are here. So I'm going to start up at the top and I'm going to work my way through. So just to recap, this is called the Economic Injury Disaster Loan.
Correct.
Google that, apply.
Yes.
Check the box for 10K grant up front. This is for small businesses specifically who don't have access to capital other places. Right. Yes? Okay. Yes. I hope once again, everyone, you will get a link to this recording. So if you're missing this, you'll have it, but that's the recap. Now let me go up to some of these questions here. And I want to acknowledge you may not be able to answer all these questions because some of these questions might be for your accountant. Correct. I'm going to start up at the top. So Paul, we're going to get to your PPP question when we get to that. So just know that those questions, I'm seeing it, we'll get there. So if your taxes show losses, does that have anything to do with filing for unemployment?
No.
Okay. Amanda, we're going to get to your PPP question as well when we get to that. So we've got two questions there. Jen Jones, Jen's question is, if your 2019 taxes are better, so you should be, if you haven't filed 2019 yet, only file them if it makes your unemployment go up. So that means your 2019 1099, you would have earned more than in 2018. But if your 2018 is higher, then you'll want to use that if you haven't filed 2019, correct?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Does filing for unemployment have any negative effects, like tax implications down the road? It is income, so you will report it as income. Are there any other tax implications, Kristen?
Not really. I mean, I'm not a tax accountant, but I don't believe so. I mean,
I don't think so either.
Remember, we're at an unprecedented time in our economy, and I won't even give you advice I gave my brother this morning on the phone, but
I'm going to take that offline from you.
Yeah.
Give me that.
I don't want it recorded.
No, I got it. Okay, so I'm going to keep working through here. Julie's question.
Yeah.
If I receive mostly 1099s, who is my last employer on my unemployment application? Myself as a sole proprietor, self-employed, or the last company I sent an invoice to?
Yourself.
Yourself.
Yes. You are not an employee of record for that business.
Right.
You're a contractor.
Right. So because you have a 1099, you've never actually been an employee. You're actually an independent contractor, so you're self-employed.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Jen Jones, again, a better tax return would be when you made more money. The more money you've made, and if you need to file unemployment because you've lost your employment, the more money historically that you can show that you've made, yes, you qualify for more unemployment. Unemployment is a percentage of your monthly income.
Right. But everybody gets the $600 no matter what. So it's still worth, you know, like I'm in California. In California, we like, I don't know, you max out like $400 something a week, and then it's prorated down. So just apply. Yeah, apply, because it's not going to be a huge difference.
Right. And then Aaron said that the EIDL was really easy, and Brian has shared the link. Thank you.
It is now. Yes, it is very easy now. And you should all do it. Like
I'm gonna do
as soon
it
as you get off this call. Yes.
Okay. So another question. How would this apply to someone who also has separate standard W-2? Can you mix W-2 with 1099? What does that look like?
You know, you can, that depends on where you made more money, where you made more money. If the W-2 is current, like if you were just laid off, apply through that. It's probably going to go faster because this is a new process for the EDD, right? And anything new, it's like, whoa, you've got all these people like, I don't know, at the agency that's funding you. So go with the employer because that's streamlined, that's straightforward. They know what to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. Just to sort of recap that for everyone, filing unemployment has always been something available to employees, people who receive W-2s. So the freelancer, you know, the contractor, anybody who gets a 1099, that's new. That's why it's unclear how long it will take. You know, not a lot of people know, but you can do it. It's been approved. So you can both file for unemployment. And then, like you said, if you are a small business, you can apply for this economic injury disaster loan.
Correct.
And Aubrey, thank you. Yep, that's a great. There's so many links and there's so much stuff coming out. Thanks everyone for sharing that. So we have another question here. Does the streamlined EIDL application completely replace the more formal long process last week?
Yes.
If we have already filled out the streamlined application, should we still submit a original loan process?
So this is where, if already started, or would that appear as two applications? So what I would do is try to check, you probably got a number for your application, is I would call SBA. You're going to be like number 472 in the queue, but just put it on speaker and go about your business to make sure they haven't lost your application. And that's how we found out, is someone called for status and they said, we can't find it anywhere. So I would call them, they have a hotline. It's going to be painful, but just multitask while you're waiting for them to answer the phone, because they will answer the phone.
So I know that I said I wanted to kind of take the PPP and table that, but Amanda has a great question. It sort of dovetails. So gig and contract workers can also apply for the PPP.
Correct.
So why would we encourage them? This is Amanda's question. Why would we encourage them to apply for unemployment instead of PPE? What's the point of PPE is to keep people employed and off of unemployment. So can you help us understand maybe the difference between filing for unemployment and the PPP and what you recommend to people about those two things?
Sure. That's going to be a decision based on your business. So for one, we do not have guidance on a couple things. For one, unemployment is immediate. There's no, like, you apply, that 7-day waiting period is ended. So if somebody needs cash immediately, that's going to happen. If you're a small business owner and you want to keep your employees on, you're going to have to fund them, right? Or tell them, I'll pay you next Tuesday or whatever it is until your loan comes through. The earliest you can apply for a PPP is Friday. Mm-hmm. What we're hearing from the banks, and you go through your bank, this is really key. This is not through the SBA. The SBA has a form. It's 2 pages. It's very, very simple. That's not the end of it. You go to your bank with that form, and then your bank says, oh, here is our application, because we are the ones that are funding this loan. It's supposedly streamlined, but no one's been able to do it yet. In that package is going to be where you're going to a whole agreement you're going to sign about the forgivable loan part. So you're going to say, I had 2 employees, I brought them back on X date. Here was my payroll here was my average monthly payroll from the last 3 months. I'm going to bring them on. And then at the end of that period, when you go to have that loan forgiven, they're going to ask you for all sorts of documentation. We don't know what that is yet because it hasn't been issued. So the difference is, as an employer, can you afford to take that risk? And if it's not forgiven, you are going to have debt. So some people are taking the PPP not to bring employees back just because they need money for working capital to pay their rent, et cetera. That's a loan. It's 10 years at 4%. So you need to really look and say, can my business afford that? And I can't answer that. So it's going to be on an individual basis.
Yeah.
For some employees might prefer to take the unemployment. It depends. I would actually ask them. This is when you ask your core people, and you really need to think about best what's going to work for your business.
Yeah. I want to say as well, what I read about the PPP is that independent contractors, 1099s, you cannot apply until April 10th.
Right.
So
yes.
the first, today's the first.
Yeah.
Who knows what day it is? Friday.
Yeah.
Friday is the first day that small businesses can apply for the PPP.
Right.
If you are self-employed, you must wait until the 10th. So let me ask you this. Why wouldn't I, because perhaps for some reason I don't have a lot of trust in my federal government right now. I don't know. Call me crazy. But why wouldn't I file for unemployment now if I have lost wages and then also apply for the PPP?
Yeah, you can do that. You can do that. I mean, you can totally do that. Then the employees go off unemployment and then you hire them back on. It bridges the gap. You can totally do that. I did get this, I just want to say, from a very trusted source about the coronavirus stimulus package. This just came right before we got on the call. It says, yes, but this program, which works on first come, first served basis, likely won't be large enough to satisfy the needs of all of America's small businesses. So we already know that. We know that the demand is super high. So, that.
So when Nicole and James will get to you in just a second.
Yeah.
So knowing that the PPP, and I've read the same thing today.
Yeah.
There is not enough money for everybody who needs it.
Right.
Is it literally first come, first serve? Is it like, do I need to be at my bank Friday morning, like lined up at like 6 a.m. getting ready to go in? Or like, what do you do?
I would call them today and find out what their process is. They may not know. A lot of people are saying our bank has no idea. There are a lot of banks that are not going to participate in this program because they don't have, these are the smaller banks, community banks. They're not going, even if they're an SBA lender, they're not going to participate because it means they have to add capacity. They may have an SBA loan department, but they're already tapped out. They can't find people to fill that spot. They have to use their own reserves to fund the loans, and then they're reimbursed by the federal government. They just simply don't have the capacity to do it.
So my bookkeeper sent me a link today for a bank in California, and she told me that you don't actually need to bank with them to apply.
Yeah. No, you don't. You don't.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And just so that all of you know, we bank with US Bank.
Yeah.
And when I spoke to my guy yesterday, he was like, we know nothing, I know nothing.
Right.
It was yesterday.
Yeah, and I mean, it's got to be it's frustrating for us, but if one of our counselors is a former SBA lender, and she's like, I feel so bad for the bankers right now because they're going to get inundated. They have no information from the federal government. They have no process, etc.
Yeah.
So anyway.
So I want to go back up to Amanda, if we didn't answer your question, please type another one. I'm going to get to Nicole's here. She
Okay.
says, as a sole proprietor that makes draws on the business versus
Right.
payroll to self, should you take the unemployment or the PPP?
Again, that depends. So you have that totally depends on how that works out better financially for you. You can, you can go to your state, if you're in California, you can look up, you can see what the maximum you're going to get. You know, this could be a time, I mean, I look at it in a couple of different ways for businesses. This could be a time, if you're a sole prop, to say, whoa, I'm going to put the brakes on. I'm going to take my unemployment and I'm going to re-envision my business for when I emerge. And that may be what you need. I mean, I know what it's like to have a small business. You are on 24/7, right? Your brain never stops. This may be a time for you to go, okay, this is working, this is working, this is working. This never worked the way I wanted it to. How could I change everything? And you know what? That's okay. No one, I mean, this is a totally unprecedented time.
Yeah. And it's just as an anecdote, because you all know I like to throw in little things. I'm going to also reach through Instagram and strangle people who keep posting about all this free time they have and how they're just getting creative. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
I know.
All I do, I'm working more hours than I've ever worked, and I've worked like already all the time. I cannot even keep up with my workload right now.
Yeah.
Because all it is just like figuring out what to do.
Yep.
And that's how I feel about skiing photos and anything. Don't do it anymore. I'm done with it.
I agree with you 100%.
Got enough time for that. Okay, so I want to.
Or the Tiger King? Come on, who has time for that?
I have no fucking time for that. So we have another one. So Stefani says, looking at the unemployment website, it says refer to state. When I go to the state, it says awaiting federal guidance. So you're suggesting to apply anyway.
Yep.
Yeah, because you actually apply through your state. So just apply through your state. All unemployment comes through your state. So go do that.
Yeah. And I mean, as somebody who, I don't know how I ended up working on government contracts, because I've spent my entire life trying to avoid them. However, that's how SBDCs are funded, right? I can tell you nothing happens fast. So here's what happened. I've been said all day today. Legislation is very different from implementation. So you had a bunch of lawmakers struggling to look good to come up with a solution. So they came up with a solution, but it's like 1,000 pages. You have to get through it, and then you have to write implementation guidelines. Like, somebody had to take all that paperwork and go, okay, this is how it's going to work in the real world. And that's what's happening right now. And that's why people are like, I don't know. I have this guideline, but I don't know how it works. I mean, I'm really suspicious. The whole loan forgiveness thing scares the heck out of me, because I know what it's like to have a desk audit from a government agency, and it is not fun. And you better make darn sure, if you're going to do that, you can prove that you brought everybody back on, your payroll stayed, or you're willing to prorate part of that if you had to lay off part of your staff. It's very tricky.
Yeah, I just want to say to all of you, so we as a small business are looking at all of these, all of the options, and we will likely apply for all of it. Anything that we apply for that's not unemployment, we are going to put it on our books as a loan that we have to repay. We're not going to bank on being able to have any of it forgiven at all. I agree with Kristen on the red tape and the documentation. And so I think that part of this is being able to navigate your cash flow currently, right?
Yeah.
So that's one part, because you don't actually know when you're going to get this money either, which is why Kristen was recommending unemployment, which is like that, and it starts happening. It's like, but it's already in the works. But then we're just going to count it as a loan that we plan on repaying. So I want to say that, Brian, we launched our ski company, the worst drought in the history of California. I feel you. It's awful. Rachel, you don't have to go through your own bank. Let me post a link right now for everyone that my bookkeeper sent me that I think anyone can apply for. So this is going in the comments right now. It's Sun West Bank. There it is. You can apply there. Let's see. So that's Rachel, Raquel. I think we can get to your question now, Raquel. Any guidance for brand new companies, no cash flow yet, who might be looking for a loan right now? Is that economic injury disaster loan for people who wouldn't qualify for anything else, or what do you suggest there?
You know what? It's worth a shot. The guidelines say that you had to be in business or intending to be in business on, I think it's February 15th. It's totally worth a shot. You know, what do you have to lose? So what they want to see is your they can go off projected revenues or projected net income is basically what they're but you know, it doesn't hurt to apply. It's very streamlined right now. And there's a comment section. A human will review this. There's no AI involved here. So make it as, you know, try to appeal to emotions. That's my recommendation on that one.
Great. Amanda, thank you for that comment there about First Southwest Bank. Rachel has a question.
Yeah.
Are there any restrictions on the 10K grant for the disaster application, this economic injury disaster loan? Are there restrictions, and would you consider that a loan or a grant on your books?
Well, that would be a grant if they actually grant it to you, that 10,000 in revenue. So the only restriction, these are what they're saying, and they're saying the businesses with highest need. So when you apply, basically there's got to be some kind of level of urgency. Like, I can't make my rent and well, nobody can evict anybody right now, but there has to be some level of urgency. The reason they came up with this after they issued the loan guidelines, it was because there was so much reaction, like, it's going to take you guys 6 weeks to get me money. I don't have 6 weeks time. So that's why they put this provision in. And it would be a grant. You would not show that as a loan because it's totally 100% forgivable. But just back to this Southwest Bank in Durango, there are some banks that are super enterprising and they're nimble and they're lean and they have figured out how to get on top of it. Which same with your SunWest, and those are the banks you want to go to because they're like, you know, they're the MacGyvers of the banking world. They typically are not depository banks, so they can move super quickly, and it's worth it. Yeah,
small community banks. Yeah, it's true. So Julie has another question. So do you have to do any extra steps to get that extra $600 for unemployment, or is it just when you apply for unemployment, it all is factored in?
Yeah.
It's all factored in.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay. Emily, you do not have to be in the area you can apply to any bank who's offering those loans. You don't have to be.
Yeah.
So I pasted a link with SunWest Bank. Amanda pasted a link for First Southwest Bank. You can apply through those banks. You don't have to be a customer of the bank, although your bank, who you have a relationship with, might be on top of it and might be able to help you. But those are 2 links for people who may not.
Right. They're federally guaranteed 100% by the SBA, which is why you can apply anywhere. Yeah.
Great. So how about this? I'm going to jump up to our very first question about the PPP. We'll continue. You got questions, pop them in. If I miss it, type it again. Okay. So I want to go back up to Paul's very first one. With regards to the PPP and calculating the average monthly payroll amount, in addition to what's listed on 941s, can a business include payments made to 1099 subcontractors, such as bookkeepers, accountants, graphic designers, blah, blah, blah?
My understanding is no, because those gig workers can work for multiple locations. So the employee, we're assuming that they're an FTE and their primary reliance for income is on that business. So if we start double counting people, that's my understanding, how it's interpreted. And they would be considered it could be considered an overhead. It's not even if you use them all the time, it would be more considered in your overhead.
Okay. I want to say that I think we should I feel like I read that you can.
Awesome. I mean, you could try, but the thing is, I guess, my understanding was that if you have a bookkeeper, they probably are working for 6 other businesses, right?
Yeah.
So that's how it was explained to me.
Yeah. Well, I guess the
the
interesting thing with the PPP is it's supposed to allow you to keep those people to continue to work for you. So if the idea is that you're going to pay them that money, if you don't bring that in, then you, like, if your graphic designer is 1099 and you don't get that money to support that graphic designer, you're not going to employ that person anymore.
Or it's looked at that they're their own business, so they can apply for their own economic injury disaster loan, right? Because that's the other way to look at it.
Yeah.
But you know what? It's like I said, humans are interpreting this. So you could always go like, oh, whoops. Honestly, this is how concrete these guidelines are right now.
So there would be no penalty for doing your best.
Yes.
And applying for all the things that you think you should be applying for. And the worst thing that's going to happen is someone's going to come back and say, sorry, you don't qualify for that.
Yeah. There's a little checkbox here, and you just say, I did my best. I'm not perjuring myself. So you check that. It's like, hey, this is legit.
Yeah. So if you say, here are my W-2 employees, here are my 1099, this is what it is, this is what I'm applying for. You're being honest. Somebody could come in and say, well, we're not going to cover that, so they don't cover it, or they could.
Yeah.
So I think that, everything that I'm gathering from you and everything that I've been reading, and, Amanda has sent me things, and I've been looking at things, like, no one really knows what the fuck's going on, and it's changing like every
constantly
day.
Yeah.
And so I think really, knowing that gig workers can apply for this, knowing that we have this economic injury disaster loan, we have the PPP, we have unemployment, like, these are all things that we could apply for. Okay, we've got a question from Cassie.
Yeah.
Right. So Cassie's basically, I think, saying what I'm saying. If your graphic designer applies for unemployment, that doesn't help my small business get graphic design work done.
Correct.
So PPP is so that we can continue to run our own business with our 1099 contractors. That's my understanding as well.
Correct. But she could also apply as a sole proprietor for a PPP or an economic, so she could be getting money. You know what I mean? I guess that's what, and no one's going to be able to double check that. It's like, there's too much volume to double check. So
maybe we found a loophole. Maybe
that's a clear loophole, right? Like, and I guess I would leave it up to, I would say, if your graphic designer is truly, like, you're using them, they're almost like an FTE or half time, then that's legit. If you use them incidentally, then that's not legit. And maybe that's my interpretation.
Great point. Because your bookkeeper is somebody who you have every single month. They're not an employee, but I certainly pay my bookkeeper. She's also fantastic. A lot of fucking money every month.
Yeah.
I can't not pay her.
Right.
Because there's no one to do the books. So, all right. So we have a question from Krista. Do you have an idea of what types of documentation we should plan to have for the disaster relief loan?
Yes. So you should look at this. I would just do a really quick, easy spreadsheet. So you would take, let's say the disaster this year is from, they're saying February 15th. So I'm going to say March 1st because it's easier. March 1st through June 1st. So we have, what is that? March, April, May. Yeah, 3 months. Okay. 3 months. 4 months? 4 months. Can't count. Okay. Let's say it's 4 months. You would go to your last year, same 4 months, and you would say, here are my revenues, here are my expenses, here was my net income. You could also say, this year I expanded, or I expected my income to increase X percent. That would be my loss. So that's very simple, just very straightforward. If you can base it on your prior year. If you were a brand new business and you're like, I have no effing idea, you somehow have to make a projection, right? So you'd have to say, this is what I expected in revenue. Here was my forecast. Here were my customer expenses. Here's what I expected to make in profit. So that's what it would cover.
So I have another question while we wait for more to propagate. So as we were talking before we officially started the call, one way that we've been affected is our ability to get lending for production, which now is our time to pay for that. If we don't pay for it now, then there is no next season.
Correct.
So when this economic injury disaster loan, would it qualify for things like production of, like, I can't, like, I need this capital for production, or would they say that's not, like, is it more overhead operating, or would it?
No, I mean,
like that?
that's a working capital question, and absolutely, because that impairs your ability to make revenues in the future. So that's really important. And these supply chain issues are real. We're going to see it come down in the construction industry and manufacturing, because anything you were waiting for, and it's not just China, it's we have a home services company who gets their deliveries from Washington State, and they're like, we're done. We're not shipping anything until June 1st. And like, well, guess what? They have all these orders in the books. They're going to have to lay off people. So the supply chain issues are real, and there is an explanation for the economic injury. So you would just forecast that the best you can.
Yeah. And I just want to say, we're having bigger supply chain issues out of Canada and California than we are overseas. So there's a lot going. Laura has a question.
Yeah.
If you have seasonal employees that had a planned end of season in April, would that reduction in payroll negatively impact the chance of PPP loan forgiveness?
Yeah. So this is an example of people in Congress writing laws and not thinking about seasonal workers. So right now, the way it reads is that you have to bring them on and keep them for, I think it's 10 weeks or 13 weeks. So you would normally lay them off, right? Mm-hmm. So for the full forgiveness, you have to keep them on the whole time.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is where you still could apply, you could still get the money, but then that's when it's a loan, and don't expect to get the forgiveness because you can't prove that those people are staying on.
Exactly.
It just this is like the biggest small business shell game. You think we're already good at moving pots of money around? Get ready for like the next level of like, how do you move this and this and this?
Yeah.
We have another question from someone. Do existing lines of credit count as access to capital, and do they exclude you from the EIDL if your LOC is completely drawn?
Well, then you don't have access to capital. So we have I would go ahead and apply. We have a situation with that. The business just went through a major expansion and they use their line of credit. I mean, they're tapped, they're tapped out. In my, Jen dropped an F-bomb earlier, so I guess I could do it too. But sorry, it's okay with this crowd?
Oh yeah, this is what we do. Yeah.
My client just said to me, I am completely fucked. And that is because he was planning for his summer. He was ramping up. I mean, everything was in place. And then this hit. He is completely tapped out. And I was like, just, you know what, apply, because this is exactly what it's for. So technically, on paper, but he's tapped out. So apply.
I mean, I think the less what we're hearing, just apply. Just take your business, know your personal, all these things. Yeah. Answer the questions honestly. Yeah. And apply, and you can do all of it.
Well, it'll be reflected in your personal financial statement, because you have, or your business balance sheet, because you have to submit one of those. And so it'll be reflected. Like, here's my line of credit. Here's how much room I have on it. Here's my debt, so that should show.
Yeah. So we have a question from Julie. If you're temporarily living outside of the United States, but you're still paying U.S. taxes, is unemployment still an option?
Okay, well, this is the conversation I had with my brother this morning. You're a freelancer? You know what? I would give it. Do they know you're living outside the United States? Do you have a mailing address in the United States? Are you working as a gig worker? Are you a digital nomad? Does your income rely on U.S. clients? If you're paying U.S. taxes, you should apply.
Yeah. So Cassie, this is a great question, Cassie.
Yeah.
If you think you can limp by for a while, are there any downsides for just applying for all the loans?
That depends on what your capacity and tolerance for debt is. So remember, their loan. My biggest fear, I would go with the EIDL and ask for that 10 grand, right? But my big fear is that we're going to come out of this and we're going to have all these small businesses that suddenly have a debt payment that they're not used to having. So this is why I'm trying to encourage people to really schedule out your cash flows, understand if you can get by, you know, and you need some working capital to reopen, that's what I would use the loan for. But just to use it to keep, you know, this is not business as usual. First thing you need to do is look at all your expenses, figure out which ones can go. And I mean like monthly subscriptions, quarterly, like all that stuff that can just little things that can add up. Then things like, I mean, obviously your rent, you know, every landlord that we have talked to is like, okay, they are expecting calls from people to say, I need a deferment, which is still, you still have to pay it, right? Or can you give me a little relief for the next couple months? Can I pay half my rent or 75%? And if they say no, ask them again, because they're eligible for relief too, if they've been filing their taxes right. So figure out where you can cut. Everybody's going to take a hit, every single person I know. But figure out where you can just cut, because all those things are going to add up. And if you can get by without borrowing money, awesome. Because debt is no fun. I don't know anybody who likes debt. Well, I do. I know a few people are comfortable with it, but most people aren't.
Yeah. So I'll get to Paul and Rachel in just a second. I want to, like, in this conversation of debt, we brought this up last week, and I just want to say this again. Gift cards are not revenue, friends. Gift cards are accounts payable on your balance sheet. That is essentially a loan from your customer. And I know everyone's like, oh, well, people don't redeem them, Keep your fingers crossed, because if you are pushing gift cards heavily, and what happens when people come to redeem those gift cards? You're just deferring say you get to open up your hair salon in June, and everybody redeems their gift cards in June. Well, now you have no revenue in June, right? So like this is what Kristen is saying with understanding your cash flow. If you're taking gift cards, you should work those gift cards as create an extra line, like accounts payable, of when you think people will redeem those. I will tell all of you at Coalition, we're not doing gift cards. People have come to us and said, can I purchase a gift card? I've told them, no, you can Venmo me, or you can buy something that we have on our website. Like, you can just buy it. So I don't think, like, gift cards are debt to your customer. It goes on your balance sheet as accounts payable. You have to think about what's going to happen when people come collecting. All right, let me get back up. We're going to start with Paul. I'm going to work my way through. I see all of you. Can the same person apply for 2 different EDILs for 2 different businesses? Yeah, it's a business. Yep. Okay, Rachel, for PPP, my accountant files my payroll once a year in December. I'm the only employee of my S Corp. And the rest of the quarter, she files the docs with zeros. So am I able to get PPP and forgiveness since I have 0 payroll for dates they are judging on?
Yeah. Wow. That's a super, I actually can't answer that, but based on their guidelines, the answer would be no, because you're required to submit documentation of your payroll prior to the economic disaster, to whatever the event, and then prove that you paid payroll right after. So unless there's a way to amend that, the way the documentation is now written, that would be a no. But Rachel, I mean, if you can get covered by EIDL, I see if you're going for the forgiveness, it depends on how much you're trying to get forgiven. Maybe the better way is to go for EIDL, take the 10 grand and move on. I don't know. It depends on how much that would be.
Lisa has a question. Her small business is an LLC with 2 owners. They already applied for an EIDL. Can they also apply for unemployment?
Yes, you can apply for unemployment, but stay away from PPP, because or if you do get PPP, you drop unemployment immediately and put yourself back on payroll. But yeah, you can definitely apply for unemployment.
Okay. Yeah. Bonnie, if you've already filed your 2019 taxes, but you made significantly more in 2018, can you use your 2018?
Yeah,
even if you already filed 2019?
Yeah, what they're going to do is they're going to make you file a form, or they're going to contact the IRS directly, at least for the EIDL. They're going to pull your taxes directly. but you can claw back. I mean, you can request to claw back to that year. So that's, again, there's humans here, so you can justify it.
Okay. Great. We have a question from Sarah that we haven't covered. The previous EIDL application had a max of 50% gross profit and minimum credit score of 650. Did that change?
I'm surprised you were able to get access to a credit score, because we were told we had somebody with a lower 600 that was approved. We had a 580 who was not approved. We had them write a letter and reapply. So, and I haven't heard the outcome. This is before the system crashed. So what they're finding is, I mean, here's the pickle about SBA is they want people that have no access to credit, but they have over 650 credit score. Well, if you have over 650 credit score, you probably have access to credit. So it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So what the language they were using is an acceptable credit score. We saw, I think it was like a 620 get approved, because they could justify it. They said, oh, we had one, I don't know, I forget what they did, but they explained it, and SBA said, okay. So.
And the PPP, there's no credit check. There's no, that PPP is based on previous payroll. That's
exactly
what they're looking at for. So the PPP is 100% off your previous payroll.
Right.
Right.
Yes.
Okay. This is from Candy. The EIDL is being called a grant and a loan. So to clarify, will we know right away if it's approved as a grant or a loan, or is that determined later?
Okay. The grant portion is only $10,000. So you can request $10,000 as a grant. Above that is a loan. So it's kind of both. And the grant part just came in. What day is it today? I don't even know. Wednesday?
Wednesday, April 1st.
Okay, thank you. I don't even. It was just very recently they came up with the $10,000, mainly because they're having such a hard time. There's so much volume. And people are like, I just can't survive 6 weeks for you to give me my 25 grand. So that's why there is a grant and a loan, but yeah, you can ask, oh, can you ask for 10,000 and not take the loan? Yeah, actually you can say, no, thanks. I don't want, there's no penalty for not taking the loan. This is why we're telling everybody to apply, because if they come and say, okay, your loan's ready, you're just like, yeah, I changed my mind.
Is the EIDL interest free?
No, it is 3.75% interest, 2.75% for nonprofits.
That's almost essentially free, though.
That's pretty good.
Borrowing.
Yeah, there isn't much cheaper than that. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
So for the PPP, what dates are they judging on? February 15th, 2019 to June 30th, 2019, January 1st, 2020, February 20th, like what are the dates?
Okay, you're mixing some things. They're looking for they're assuming the event triggered on February 15th, even though we weren't even in lockdown till March 15th, right? But when they're looking at your payroll, they want consecutive months or weeks before that. So actually, I mean, Rachel, yours, if you have your payroll at the end of the year, maybe that works. I don't know if the timing is right.
Chelsea, the answer to your question, yes. We discussed it at the beginning of this call that self-employed people can apply for unemployment. Go apply, you got it. Also, just to remind everyone, if you're jumping on now, the link to this video will be made available to all of you, and so you can access if you missed any of it. Marlena has a question. Will there be another relief bill down the road, because this money could dry up quickly and a business may not need a loan now, but they may need it later? If this continues longer, I would say because this will continue longer than anticipated. Do you know anything about future relief bills?
Yeah, they're talking about round 4 already, and that will be for hopefully the recovery side. So reopening, buying inventory. We work with so many restaurant clients, and they're trying to figure out, I mean, they're in a total pickle because they're like, okay, half of my employees are undocumented. Am I going to get tagged for, like, I have social security cards. But anyway, they're in their payroll system. Supposedly that's okay. I don't know if I'd trust this administration on that. But when it comes time for them to reopen, they have this massive amount of working capital they're going to need to restock all of their food, right? So that's what sort of this next round is designed to help you get back to business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have another question here that came through privately. How is the amount of the loan you would qualify for under the EIDL being determined? Under the streamlined process, they only ask for 12 months of revenue and 12 months of COGS. So it's really limited.
Right. It's very limited because they want to spread it around. So the determination is on what the economic injury, any kind of disaster loan is for anything. It could be fire, flood, whatever, is based on what you projected you lost during that disaster time. So we actually have a time, no one lost a building here, burned down. So this is a little bit different. Economic injury is calculated based on what the injury was to you from the event. So, you lost your very own paycheck, but you still had to pay your rent. So you come up with it we kind of walked through this earlier, is maybe looking at what your net profit was last year, add in what you pay yourself that you can't now, and that would be your injury.
And also, for those of us who were in growth mode, you can put that in, like, I was expected to be able to do this.
Exactly.
So that's another thing.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm gonna keep, so Krista, I own an LLC. I receive disbursements from my LLC. I pay myself monthly. If I file from employment, they ask me who my last employer is. Is my last employer my LLC?
Yep.
Okay. With unemployment, I'll need to file a continued claim every Saturday night with my numbers of hours worked, gross earnings. If my LLC is still receiving a minimal amount of money, should I stop paying myself, taking disbursements, and say that I've worked 0 hours?
Yes.
Move the shit around, girl. Like, just start reallocating money. Yeah.
Work the system. Absolutely. Yeah. Work the system.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we have another question. For the EIDL, if your business is an LLC with a business structure of a partnership, do you file as a business with fewer than 500 employees or a sole proprietorship? An LLC is not a sole proprietorship because we file taxes through our personal taxes.
Yeah. And they, any owner with more than 20% is going to have to also be on the application. So they get into that too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And my understanding about guaranteeing these loans, if you take a loan for more than $25,000, and if you are the person who owns more than 20% of the company, that is a personal, you have to personally guarantee it. Now, if it is under 25,000, there is no personal guarantee that is required.
And no collateral either.
And no collateral.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. You want to be 24,999 if you get away with it. It's going to go faster too.
Yeah. 24,9. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, oh no, I was waiting for this call today before I applied for this because I've been looking at all my stuff and I've been strategizing. I mean, literally, this is
strategy, right?
Tetris, and I have so many spreadsheets going and all these different things. All right.
Yeah.
So
at the end of the day, you know what? I just, one of my favorite movies of all times is The Godfather. And when they talk about going to the mattresses, that means they're at war and they're going to the mattresses and they're going underground and they're going to protect themselves. That is the mindset you need right now. You are going to the mattresses. We are at war. This is not business as usual. Do not borrow more than you need. It is not a time to buy a new car or even new yoga pants. I don't care what it is. Maybe skis. You can buy skis from Jen. But yes, this is a time to really pull back, figure out what's absolutely necessary for your business. If you have key loyal employees that you want to keep, bring them into the conversation, understand what they need. Loyalty now will pay off with loyalty later. But we are in wartime, people. Do not take more money than you need because nobody wants to owe the government money. It just sucks. It really does. And if you can, borrow enough to get you back open, but man, I don't know. my job is to keep small businesses healthy. So I just feel really passionate about that.
So we normally just run this call for an hour.
Mhm.
I'm okay with going over just a little bit more if you are, Kristen, and as to kind of wrap it up.
Yeah.
I just want to tell a little story while I give you a chance to think about what you need to say that hasn't been said yet. I also want to give everyone a chance to ask a question that they haven't asked yet.
Uh-huh.
While we're doing that, like for us at Coalition on Monday, I was offered I've been working on obtaining a loan for our next year's production. We fund our producing skis is expensive. We had it locked in. The rates went significantly higher because it's working with individual lenders. I made the tough decision yesterday that we're not taking that loan. And that means we're just holding off on production until I can earn enough money or find money. So because looking at this is where spreadsheets are fantastic.
Yeah.
If I would take that, I could get that loan next week, but it would erase my margins. And then I'm only just kicking a can, and come fall, I'm going to sell all these skis and repay this loan and have nothing left. And that just felt awful. So now I've been emailing our manufacturer, doing all these different things, and we've never done this. We've never and I'm like, well, if we're a month late delivering on our skis, oh fucking well, I can't take this loan. So it's I'm really just all the things that I have wanted to do always of being on time, it's not going to happen. So I just want to, you're welcome, everyone who's saying thank you. Amanda has a great comment here.
She really does. It's really good.
Yeah. So my 2 cents is that businesses that pay employees and contractors should go for the PPP instead of unemployment, because then businesses can use it to pay people like Cassie and me and other contractors, and paying them rather than canceling contracts and fueling the system of everyone being out of work and having the economy halt even more. Do your paperwork correctly, make sure you follow the rules, and the PPP will be forgiven. You're not oversharing. Please don't apologize. If everyone keeps firing everyone and going on unemployment, there's no cash flow moving. And I would so for us, we're gonna apply for it. We're just gonna apply for all of it. And then Sverre has a question: is the 10K grant the same as the advance of up to 10,000?
Yeah.
Same.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah.
So, Kristen, anything that you want to say that you've not said yet today?
Yeah. Well, I love Amanda's comment. I know I'm trying to be super, super practical. I know businesses that are really, really hurting, but if you do have a way to keep people employed, even if maybe they have to take a little haircut and they're okay with that, it's you can come together as a team. Now, if there's a way to do that, keep your business going. If it's a loan, especially if it can be forgiven, I just don't want to get anybody in a position where they can't produce the paperwork that they have to prove, and then they're saddled with debt. I'm not in the business of that. So all that information isn't out there. You know what? Just stay close to it. Your banker could be your best friend right now. But in my perfect world, everybody comes out of this able to be back in business, and jobs are not lost. So, keep the faith. The other thing I'm hearing, and most of them have not materialized, is that there are some small community loan funds out there that are designed to be like a bridge fund or gap funding. So you're waiting 6 weeks for your EIDL or whatever. There are people that are putting together loan funds that can bridge that, so you can keep your contractors. This is a great time to get shit done, honestly. If you've got graphic designers and you've been meaning to redo your website, it's perfect time. Meaning to put videos on your website, perfect time, if you can fund it. So.
Anybody else have any other questions? Did I miss any of your questions? Are we good? Yes, ask your SBDC for the bridge loan. Well, Kristen, I just want to thank you so much for being here with us today. This has been incredibly helpful. The recording of this call is going to go out to all of you on your email. I send it through our ESP, so if you you should be getting it through Coalition. And I want to thank Susie for being the person who gets this call going and mutes and unmutes and does all of that. So thank you to you. And We have one more question. Aubrey, have you heard of the 100,000 grant from the town of Truckee?
Oh, that's what I'm talking about when I say local loan funds. We don't have all the information yet, but stay close to that. It'll be coming out most likely on social media. I've been telling everybody that I know, it's like, I think I haven't been home too much because we've been really busy, but people are going to be in their homes. They're going to look around their house and you're like, I have so much crap in my life. And they're going to learn that, you know what, maybe we don't need to buy so much from Amazon, but we need to buy locally. Like, and that's my message. Buy less, but buy here.
Exactly.
And keep your small businesses in business. So
Right.
that's my big message over. And you're seeing that in communities, which is great.
And I want to let all of you know, I don't actually have anyone lined up for next Wednesday because I don't know what we should be talking about. So when you get this email from me that includes the recording to this call and it includes a link to register for next week, I'm going to also have a poll, and it would help me a lot if you could answer the poll of what you would like for us to discuss next Wednesday. And then I'll look to find a human who can join and we can talk about something that is relevant to all of us. So just know that next week's sort of open. People have also approached me of like, can I be on the call? I've known Kristen forever, and I was like, what are you going to talk about? Like, I'm like vetting people to make sure. So just know that I got you, Holly. So just know that like I'm trying to like work with people to make sure that when they're on here, it's a good use of everyone's time and that we're answering the questions that we need to. So just look for that email, video registration for next week, poll. And then Kristen, final thing, if people are still having questions and don't know what to do about this, where should they go?
Right. So you can, I'll tell you our side, wherever you are in the world. I saw Amanda, thanks for the plug to SBDCs. SBDCs are free and they are for small businesses. So if you're in Texas, you can just Google your local SBDC. Ours is sierrasbdc.com. And if you go there, it says apply now. We've got tons of resources. And that apply now goes to a human, and you'll get a phone call from a human. It'll probably be Jess, who's amazing. We have some great counselors, so feel free to call us. And if you're not in our region, we will connect you with the right person. But yeah, this is the kind of crisis SBDCs live for, right? Like
we're here to serve a purpose. We can do something. Right, everyone. Well, thank you so much. Again, Kristen, thank you. Hugely helpful. I can't wait to apply for all of these things.
Yeah.
Apply, and good luck to everyone, and we will see you next week.
Thanks, Jen.
Bye. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.